There is a number I want you to keep in mind. The average man under chronic stress makes financial decisions that cost him between $300 and $600 every single month. Not because he is reckless. Not because he is irresponsible. Because his brain is operating under a chemical that was never designed for the modern world. By the end of this, you will know exactly what that chemical is doing to your wallet. And you will understand why no budget in the world can fix it. My name is Frank Malone, and this is not a wellness video. Most men I know are not lazy. They are exhausted. They wake up already behind. They carry something they cannot name, a low-grade tension that never fully goes away. They call it stress. They accept it as the price of ambition. They tell themselves it means they care. What they do not know is that this tension has a price tag. A monthly one. And it is being collected silently, every single day. Let me show you what I mean. When your brain detects a threat, real or imagined, it releases a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is ancient. It was built for survival. It narrows your focus. It shuts down long-term thinking. It tells your entire nervous system, handle this now, worry about tomorrow later. That is useful if you are running from a predator. It is catastrophic if you are trying to build wealth, because wealth is not built in the moment of threat. Wealth is built in the quiet space between threats, in the decisions you make when your mind is calm enough to think past next week. A man under chronic cortisol does not have that space. His brain is perpetually in survival mode. And in survival mode, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, discipline, and delayed gratification, goes offline. Not partially offline, functionally offline. The man is still conscious. He still believes he is making rational decisions. But the part of his brain that evaluates long-term consequences is not in the room. Here is where it gets financial. When the prefrontal cortex is suppressed, 3 patterns emerge consistently. Researchers have documented them across income levels, across cultures, across decades of data. The first pattern is impulse spending. The stressed man buys things he did not plan to buy. Not always big things. Sometimes it is food. Sometimes it is a subscription he forgets to cancel. Sometimes it is a purchase that feels like relief in the moment. The brain is not shopping. It is self-medicating. Dopamine is the fastest available painkiller when cortisol is flooding your system. Every unplanned purchase is a dose. The second pattern is risk avoidance in exactly the wrong places. A stressed man avoids the financial decisions that require sustained mental effort. He delays the investment conversation. He does not open the brokerage account. He does not read the contract carefully, because sustained focus under cortisol is painful. So he avoids the things that would actually build his future. And then he takes risks in exactly the wrong places. He gambles on a shortcut. He agrees to a deal he did not fully analyze. He sends money somewhere because a fast decision felt better than a slow one. The third pattern is what researchers call tunneling. When the brain is in survival mode, it focuses obsessively on the immediate problem. The overdue bill, the difficult conversation at work, the thing that is urgent right now. And while it is tunneled into the immediate, everything else falls through the cracks. The insurance that lapses, the recurring charge that goes unnoticed, the opportunity that expires. Now I want to ask you something. Which one of these is you? Because most men are not one of the 3. Most men are all 3 at different points in the same month. I was. For longer than I want to admit. At a certain point in my life, I was making real money for the first time. And I was losing it in ways I could not trace. I would look at my bank account, and the math would not add up. I was not gambling. I was not making obviously bad decisions. I was just stressed. I was stressed about the business. I was stressed about the people who depended on me. I was stressed about what would happen if it all fell apart. And that stress was costing me money I could not see leaving. Here is the calculation. $300 in unplanned impulse purchases. $200 in fees, lapses, and missed opportunities from avoidance. $100 in a shortcut decision I would not have made with a clear head. $600 every month. Not because of bad luck, because of cortisol. At the end of a year, that is $7,200. Gone, not stolen, not gambled. Just quietly extracted by a brain in survival mode. Now here is the part that changed things for me. The wealthy men I eventually met, and I mean the ones who had built something real, not inherited, not lucky, but built. They were not less stressed than everyone else. The world gives them stress the same way it gives it to anyone. The difference was what they did before the stress arrived. They had built structures that removed financial decisions from the moment of cortisol. Automatic savings that moved money before they could think about it. Investment accounts set up so that no manual decision was needed. Spending limits that required effort to override, not effort to follow. They had engineered their financial behavior to run without their stressed brain in the room. They did not rely on discipline in the moment of cortisol, because they understood that discipline in the moment of cortisol is not discipline. It is luck. The man who builds wealth is not the man with the most willpower under pressure. He is the man who designed his system when the pressure was low enough to think clearly. This is the work most men never do, because it is quiet work. It does not feel like achievement. It does not produce a story to tell. But it is the only work that actually protects your money from your own stressed brain. I want to leave you with one thought. Your stress is not just a health problem. It is a financial one. Every month you operate under unmanaged chronic stress is a month where $600, give or take, is extracted from your future by a biological mechanism that is older than money itself. You cannot budget your way out of it. You cannot discipline your way through it. The only solution is structural. Build the system when you are calm, so that the system runs when you are not. That is not a wellness insight. That is financial engineering. My name is Frank Malone. And if what I just described sounds familiar, you already know what you need to do differently.